Baseball hell that we're all living in. You gotta laugh, otherwise you cry. How we doing on this fine Monday? It is Evan and Tiki. Tiki off today. I'll be back tomorrow. Don't worry, we'll get to the football later. The Jets and Giants had wonderful preseason debuts. But this weekend and really the last 2 months has been hell. And we will spend plenty of time talking about why the Mets stink, why the Yankees stink. There's a myriad of reasons. There's a lot of things that were added to it over the weekend. And so trust me, there will be 98% negativity throughout this day, as you've already heard. And, of course, we will talk to you at 888-808-1019. But if you don't mind, Sean, can I start with something that at least should give all of us hope?
Hope?
Hope. That's the keyword, hope.
All right, sure. So it's a Justin Fields take. What do we got?
Why are you taking a shot at the Jets 5 seconds into the show? Justin Fields played great this weekend. Shut your mouth.
How is that a shot at the Jets?
I don't know. It just felt like one.
You said, can I start with hope?
Oh.
That's actually a positive thing about the Jets, but I digress.
Yeah, I guess I'm just waiting for negativity from you. Look, the Mets are a mess. The Yankees are a mess. They've been a mess for a while. There's no denying that. But the thing I hold out hope on today on August 11th, and I'll hold out this hope until it's over, is that if the season ended today, they would both be in the postseason. And in a best-of-3 series, maybe they get hot. The Mets would play the Dodgers. Maybe they beat them. The Yankees would play the Astros. Well, we know the answer to that. But my point to you all is this, because I have gotten a ton of emails and tweets and text messages. The Mets are dead. The Yankees are dead. I'll say a lot of mean things about the Mets today. I will, I promise. I'll say a lot of mean things about the Yankees today. I promise. The one thing you will never hear from me, because it's a lie, it's not true, it's not based on reality, is that anybody's dead. In the postseason, it's a new year. So let's all reset together, Mets fans and Yankee fans. Just make the freaking tournament and get hot at the right time. Tell me where I'm telling lies.
This is beyond a shadow of a doubt the thing I am the most sick and tired of hearing come out of your mouth for the last 2 years.
Why?
This opinion of yours that, hey, just get in, anything can happen, while on a minimal factual basis, yeah, okay. Like, technically, any team that gets in the playoffs has a chance to win a championship. Both of these baseball teams have now told us by August 11th, loud and clear, who they are. That doesn't mean they're going to lose out the rest of the year and bottom out. It doesn't mean they're actually going to miss the playoffs. They'll have a couple moments. Maybe it's versus the Twins for the Yankees or for the Mets when they play, the Nationals, the Marlins. They'll thump their chest a little bit. But these teams have told us loud and clear who they are. They are full of flaws. Some more flaws than some of these big teams that we've seen the Yankees and Mets get bounced around by, especially this weekend. The Mets can't hit with runners in scoring position. Just when you think they can score a bunch of runs, their bullpen that was supposed to be fixed, that turns into a pumpkin the last couple days. The Yankees and all of their issues. I mean, how many times do you need to not be able to field the ball properly in the outfield? How many times does Aaron Boone have to push the wrong button in the bullpen? How many times does that lineup not come through? Or Max Fried now is turned into a complete disaster at times. These teams have spoken to us, and they've told us, don't believe in us. So, yeah, get in the tournament. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. We should remove our hearts and our mental investment from these teams as much as humanly possible. Otherwise, you're only due for more heartbreak. These teams are dead.
Well, they're not dead. I mean, I'm sorry.
They're dead.
You can say it as loudly as you want. It's not true. Because, yes, they've been bad for months. And there's no denying it. Like, the facts are the facts. For 2 months now, the Mets are a bad team. For 2 months now, the Yankees are a bad team. And no one could argue that because they've been that way. I've even pointed out that if you go back to late April, the Mets have been a mediocre team for over 90 games. But for either team to make the postseason, which is still, to borrow a phrase from the manager of the Yankees, right in front of them, they're going to have to win more games than they lose. Would you agree with that statement at least?
Yes, and I do think both teams' schedule does dictate that they will.
So just hear me out on this.
Okay.
For the New York Yankees, I'll start with them, to make the postseason. Currently, they're a half game up on the Guardians. They are no lock. No one's suggesting they are.
A half game up? We thought they were a lock for the 1 seed in May.
I understand. Calm down for a second. I understand. I'm emotional about this, too. I'm trying to be reasoned here at 2:05 on a Monday. And it doesn't mean I'm positive. I'm just trying to be reasoned, okay? They're a half game up on the Cleveland Guardians, a team whose closer is in a betting scandal, and they've also traded pieces off, okay? But would you not agree that for the New York Yankees to make the postseason in their final 48 games, they're going to have to win more than they lose? Is that not a fair statement?
Yeah.
Okay, stop right there.
Okay.
For the New York Mets, whose lead for a wild card spot, shockingly enough, is a game and a half on the Cincinnati Reds. Forget the division for a second. Making the postseason is no longer a lock. They're only a game and a half up on Cincinnati. For the Mets to make the playoffs, they're going to have to win more games than they lose the rest of the way. Would you agree with that?
Correct.
Okay. So both teams, in order to just get to the minimum of what I described, have to at least play some semblance of competent baseball over the next month and a half. If they do so, and they're in the postseason, of course they have a chance.
Stop it, Evan. A team's DNA is a team's DNA. Yeah, okay, they could win more games than they lose. Baseball plays a million games for a reason, right? Yeah, I don't expect the Mets to have multiple 7-8 game losing streaks the rest of the way, or the Yankees for that matter either. But just because you might play, let's say, from this point forward, 5 games above 500 with the games you have left, like, let's just call that what it is.
Yeah.
That's going to make you feel better because, well, you know, you had a winning record versus a bunch of subpar teams.
Sean, it's not feeling better. It's about giving yourself a chance to play your best baseball at the right time.
What do you think happens when these teams get to the postseason if they just get in? That suddenly a light switch is going to be flipped? Here's what I don't like. Because last year, while you had some of these moments along the regular season, the magic, if you will. Now, the Yankee magic wasn't as, I guess fun as some of the Met magical moments, but you could point to moments and you could point to games. Both of these teams, at times during this crappy play for the last 3 months, had a game here or there where we pointed to a moment and said, that's going to wake you up.
Yeah.
Why would I think that one win in the postseason, suddenly that would now become the galvanizing moment if you got in to take you off and running?
The difference is, Sean, I'm not arguing it's going to happen. It's very difficult today to actually have confidence that the Mets or Yankees are just going to flip a switch. It's more reminding everyone the realities as we sit here in the middle of August. It sucks right now. There's no sugarcoating it. They're bad right now.
It sucked for the whole summer.
I get that. They've been bad for months. Whatever date you want to use as a line of demarcation. Coincidentally, it's the date we argued who's better on June 13th.
It's our fault.
It is our fault. But it's not about why I believe either team is going to turn it around. It's more that there's time for them to turn it around. And Aaron Boone said something the other day at his press conference. It's very powerful and it's very true. Joel Sherman was challenging him. Joel Sherman says, what are you good at? Because the Yankees haven't been good at anything. Fair, tough question. And Aaron Boone had an answer. Right now, we're not good at anything, but we're capable of it. And that's the thing about both of these teams that's so frustrating. They're capable of more. The Met offense is capable of not going LD. That's a phrase I use on the Rico. It uses curse words. It's very inappropriate. Basically, they're limp, okay? Yeah, thank you. They don't have to go limp for the final 4 innings of every game, but that's what they've been doing. They're capable of more than that. Their starting pitching, especially at the top, is capable of more than that. They are capable of not being a bad baseball team like they've been for 2 months. Same with the Yankees. So right now, we can go through every issue each team has. What makes this infuriating, probably more so than most seasons we've witnessed as Met fans and Yankee fans, is that deep in my core, I know they're better than this. They should be better than this. Now, how do I explain that the Mets have been a bad team for 2 months? How do I explain that they've been a mediocre team for 96-plus games? I wish I had the answer. But I know that they're capable of more, which is why if you're a Yankee fan and a Met fan, as upset and angry and disgusted as you are, they can easily turn this around. They can.
Evan.
I'm not expecting it necessarily, but they can. So stop telling me they're dead. They're not dead. They're playing like they're dead. They've been awful. If you were at Yankee Stadium this weekend, I'm sorry. If you flew to Milwaukee, sorry about the rainstorms.
Yeah, jeez.
But I'm sorry that you watched that garbage. I'm sorry you watched Carlos Mendoza not show guts by going to Edwin Diaz earlier on Sunday. I'm sorry Francisco Lindor can't field a ground ball. I'm sorry. But it doesn't mean, as down as we are, that this is it and they're done and they suck. I'm sorry.
You're setting yourself up for more heartbreak thinking that. We're all capable of greatness. Tommy's capable of not being an immature loser at 40 years old.
Why are you picking on Tommy? Where'd that come from?
Because I am. I'm capable of being much thinner. You're capable of looking better than you do on a daily-to-day basis. But what do we constantly do in those regards? We probably disappoint more than we should. The Mets and Yankees, I would hope, are capable with the star power they have on both of these teams of being better than they've shown us. But at some point, Evan, what you've shown us is what you are. And the 2025 Mets and the 2025 Yankees, if not for April, and if not for the beginning of the May, have shown us that despite their payroll and despite their stars, they are exactly that, mediocre to below average teams. And I'll do you one better. The league rules are the league rules. What is our discussion today? If Major League Baseball wasn't run by money pig owners that wanted an extra wild card race or an extra wild card,
both teams would be in trouble.
Yeah. What the hell would we be saying?
They'd be in more trouble, I should say.
We are clinging on to hope based on the fact that they get an extra entry in because of baseball's greed.
Sean, that doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't. That's
the extra
format.
wild card is there for finances. The Yankees and Mets are not capable of being a last wild card going on a roll, and just because they got in.
But
That's nonsense.
But of course they are. All you have to do is look at the last few years. The Philadelphia Phillies potentially choked away a playoff spot, barely made the playoffs, and got to the World Series. So that argument of, well, that playoff spot shouldn't even exist, they're not capable of it, is not true. Like, I'll walk into your world of there's only 2 wild card teams. Yeah, the Mets would be 2.5 games out. It'd be a tough spot. I mean, it'd be tricky. We'd say, wow, can they catch the Padres? In the Yankees' case, they'd also be 2.5 games out. They'd be trailing the Red Sox.
Okay, but Evan,
what does that mean?
Your big argument is, well, you're going to have to play above 500 again for both of these teams. And we've both looked at the schedule. Yeah, there's harder games than others, but we both, I think, agree that they're going to play above 500 despite all the flaws.
They better.
Okay. But what... Like, honestly, so other than just saying, hey, they played above 500, they got in, anything can happen, to me, that's not a belief. Like, what would it take to actually believe? To me, I got to see like a 10-game win streak out of both teams at this point.
There's a difference between you having optimism when the playoff begins and anything could happen once you're there. I'm not telling you you're going to be positive going into a best-of-3 against Boston or Houston or whoever the heck they face. I'm just reminding you that the beauty of this sport, or maybe not the beauty of this sport, just the way it is just get to the tournament.
Just get to the tournament.
Just get to the tournament.
These teams should be above just getting to the tournament. That's what's a disgrace.
Sean, I know they should be, but they're not.
Exactly.
And so saying they're dead and it's over and what's the point of watching is stupid. It's dumb.
To treat these teams like the little engine they could, like the Diamondbacks of a couple years ago. And oh, by the way, all of the examples we've used about teams getting hot didn't ultimately win a World Series either, I want to mind you. I understand, just get there, anything could happen. This is so distasteful to act like any Yankee fan or Met fan who has seen what they've seen all summer go, hey, but you know what? You never know. You get in. That should not be the bar for these teams, and we know better. You are setting yourself up as a fan for failure if that's the attitude you're going in with.
Maybe I'm setting myself up for failure. Here's what I know.
Stink.
Here's what I know. The Mets have stunk for a while now. There's no disputing that. This weekend against Milwaukee was incredibly discouraging. The way they lost on Friday, the way they even lost on Saturday, obviously yesterday was just... I mean, it was water torture.
Yeah. Take away Hell's Bells, by the way. He's not allowed an entrance until we fix this.
I understand that. Like, yesterday was one of those games. The Mets had a 5-0 lead. And as I talked about late last week, I was watching this at a barbecue, and I did not score the game for anyone that was curious.
Oh, we need to talk about that later.
But I was surrounded by diehard Met fans, and we all had the same feeling at 5-0. And that was, this doesn't feel safe.
Did you bet it?
Never felt safe. I didn't bet it because I was at this barbecue. I was busy, running around following my youngest son. I was trying to be, talkative. Mm-hmm. I was shoving hot dogs down my throat. So, no, I did not take out the emotional hedge. I wish I did. And if I had the opportunity to, I probably would have. But yesterday's game for the Mets was like one of those inevitable crashes. Like, inevitably. Shaun Morash puts guys on base. As soon as he gave up that 2-run hit to Joey Ortiz that made it the 5-3 game, I'm like, we're screwed. Even when they added the insurance run, what happens an inning later? Here's William Contreras hitting a 2-run home run at 6-5. And you knew, even with this new and improved bullpen, you just knew they're blowing this game.
Yep.
And so it was bad. I'm not trying to tell you I'm in a happy place. I'm in a sad place. I'm in a depressed Met fan place. But what I remind myself is the reality of the sport. And that is, they're not dead. As dark as things seem, it's not over. Am I encouraged that they're going to come home and beat the Atlanta Braves? Not really. Am I encouraged that the Yankees are going to beat up the Twins, who they always beat? Not really. But I do know with a month and a half to go in this season, there is time to fix this mess. But it's going to have to start internally. It's going to have to start with Yankees starting pitchers going more than 5 innings. I mean, I could say the same about the Mets outside of David Peterson. We know that's true. It's going to start with Aaron Judge. What has the King done since coming off the IL?
Nothing. But he always does this when he gets off to, or he goes on the injured list. It's a slow start coming back. Evan, any team that makes the playoffs has an, in theory, chance because you just happen to be there. But,
stop right there.
But
I convinced them. Thank you.
No,
Let's
you
move
didn't.
on.
We all know when the NFL season comes and goes, when you sit down and watch that wild card weekend game Saturday at 4:30.
This isn't football, bro.
It is.
No, it's not.
The Yankees and Mets represent the Houston Texans hosting a wild card Saturday game at 4:30.
No,
you know they're there, and you know they got no shot at dancing at the end.
Completely different. We'll get your calls next, 888-808-1019. There's a